this is my third time trying to attempt to record this, so hopefully this one comes out well. Um, I've got a nice little another little gameplay video to show off. This is done at my locals as well. This was a Blue Steel versus Ruby Sapphire. I was told not to spoil the ending of the video or the outcome of the match, so I'm not going to do that this time. But yeah, I'll jump right into it. As I say, I've recently sort of been feeling a lot more confident into this matchup than in the past, but it's still quite scary. I still think you have to play relatively greedy to get an outcome from this. And I can sort of demonstrate at the start. If we look at the hand start, we kept a broom and a quill. Of course, the broom is very much not optimal in this matchup. It's a fairly useless card. But my thoughts on that really is I'm on the play. I want the Smee, which we do draw instead, so that broom will go in the inkwell. But of course, my thoughts go to if I can't have a Smee questing for 2 every turn, the next best thing is a broom questing for 1 every turn. And it's not really an optimal play there, but as I say, you have to be so greedy. And by the end of the matchup, the idea of something sticking on the board more than a turn, but anything besides aerial sticking on the board is just not really likely going to happen. So instead, what we do is we get something early and start questing, because sometimes this matchup you lose just by a very small increment of lore. So yeah, straight away we just put the broom into the inkwell and kick off, and it's always quite upsetting when you start a matchup against another Sapphire player and they pop score and you don't. Just for that nice cycle. And yeah, so we have to put the Hiram in the inkwell. We look at the hand. It's not particularly the best hand, and it's not a good, it's a good hand, but it's just as all on inkables. Um, and we also looked at it as like, right, there's a whole new world and we're on the play, so we'll probably just have to opt for that instead and hopefully get the 5 cost. But you say there's only one character in the hand and the rest is uninkable, so it's not looking amazing right now. And they've missed the one jump, which is something they can kind of is right. And we were on the play, so we're at the advantage. We drew another uninkable, which is so worrying, really. And yeah, we have to put the quill in. There is a chance there is a world where you'd want to keep it and say, right, well, next turn I'll draw an inkable. But, the odds of you not, you'll be so behind. You'll be like 2 turns behind on ink, or that's the turn you ink, um, and then play the quill out. So, yeah, we just put it in there. The Mickey's still ramp. Sadly, at this point, we are at a point where we can pay a 5 cost and sing Holy World because we've got nothing to ink. So then my thought process is just get an inkable, play it hardcast Holy World. Yeah, we drew another uninkable. So we got to 5 lore, which is what I always think is quite good about these early questers. We're a quarter of the way there from these 2 characters. They haven't really got any appropriate answers for it. We'll get the board in check. So yeah, I think that was sort of the right play. It just felt like I didn't want them to get the Sisu trade on the Smee when he could still get me some more lore. We draw another uninkable. It is a brutal, brutal game. But yeah, we take the ramp. Um, we just have to because we need to start inking for turn. Uh, I think we're debating if we want to quest, and I believe yet we do. So we go up to 6, 7, 8. And the Smee dies, but like I said, we're just hunting for that lore, and we're getting almost halfway there, really, which is just really good. And in my opinion, if you're facing an opponent who's got like a really nice trade like that, a 3-3 into a 1-3, with Ruby Sapphire, I find they majority of the time when they set up a Tala or something, they want to sing How Far You Go, or they want to sing another song. They don't really care about your board because they know they'll deal with it with things like Sisu or Be Prepared or whatever. They don't really want to deal with it just by taking trades. I find it a very uninteractive deck, but it's better to just walk them up there. But the lucky thing for us is we're just questing every turn and we're just chipping away at lore. Yeah, they play a Gaston, which I think is quite good. It's very interesting. I don't think Ruby Sapphire realised how little early game pressure they lost with cutting Queen of Hearts from their deck. So you can sometimes just get a Gaston on board. I believe it's added in there to deal with what's it called? Yeah, we just ink and hardcast the whole new world for the Flynn. But I think it's good. It's on the board. It could easily take both of these into trade. You could even pop a Pork Skull and then use the Tamatoa to heal it up. I don't want to deal with it. I'd hope it just dies to grab your swords. Yeah, and we take that 2 lore to go up to 10. which is just really, really good. Now that we've got the fresh hand, if you look at that, we have Quill. They haven't gained any lore. They haven't got a Tamato on board. They aren't Hiram drawing. So, I think we can use Bell. We can try and find the second dime. We've got plays here. It's not that terrible of a hand. And even with their big removal stuff, he takes the trade there. There you go. He's finally got in for it. With their big removal stuff like Medusa or Tremaine, we haven't got any targets for them. That does mean they get to sit back and just use more ramp cards, more setting up towards their dime. But if their hand is just a bunch of removal cards, we did burn a CC there as well. I just noticed in the discard. That's nice. They've got nothing to react with their reactive cards. That is quite looking like a strong board there. And I'm excited to see what play I went for next. It's probably going to be bad. This is interesting. Yes, I see what I'm doing here. I am at this point pretty much forgetting that they have a board and just gonna go for the ramp. So we set up the bell. I don't know how much I'd advise this afterwards. I think I just thought we were so behind that we had to find something here. So we set up a bell so we could double ink and then play the harem. They had a Sisu burn. They unlikely to double Medusa. I don't think they even have the ink for it. So that's just an awkward board to deal with. You wouldn't be prep it. You'd hope to take out of Sisu really. So yeah, I that was probably the ballsy play that I decided to go for. Yeah, and with that, they're probably going to play a brawl on one of them, but they're not really progressing towards their win. They haven't set up a dime or a Tamatoa. That's a nice way to use Gaston as well to get some more value out of it. Assuming a brawl comes out here. Yeah. And even then, it's kind of awkward. It's like brawl a dime target or brawl a Hiram. Both worthy things to brawl. They go up to 2. But yeah, they're both things. And at this point, we're halfway there. I believe if we find a dime, I mean, there we go, found one. Looking back, the importance of keeping that bell actually might have shined through, but we have an aerial in hand. We can't exactly use it right now because of. I'm excited to see if I use it. No, I think we're setting up so we can dime tap on the turns. If we can just do it both in one turn. Oh no, we are completely not. We're set. I had no idea what I'm doing. We're setting up so we can do 10 lore in one turn. It looks like risky. I mean, if not, you force them to play a Be Prepared, or you force them to trade in and then Tremaine. Looking back, yeah, I felt actually we had a lot of space. Maybe it's because I saw 4 characters. I thought they're pushing for a win, but they're only going to gain 3 lore on that turn unless they set up a dime. So we had some space really. We could have set up the dime and then, sort of just dime tapped for a little bit and got closer there. But we want to set up the maths and just do 5 to win. So keeping the bell would have been alright, but we didn't have the dime in the hand at that time. So yeah, looking back, a lot of this has come together as a win, and I'm not sure how I've done that. We have to think about Judy Hops as well. It seems to float in and out of red-blue decks. You can't understate that they do have an answer for dime. They have an answer for your targets, but they also have an answer for the card itself. Put the lucky coin. Don't know what Pokemon that's called. It looks like they haven't. Oh, they have got it. So they quest for 3. I believe that was 3. So 5. Play the B prep. Forcing a B prep on a Hiram and an aerial. I mean, it's not the best, but it did completely wipe the board, and we know we have a dime. I mean, we are burning through dime targets. So actually, looking back, there's a lot of these plays that I think I could have improved. Really, sort of going down on items. Playing the dime. I don't know why I played it in the middle like that, like I was presenting the information. Tap the quill, yeah. Possibly we're going to go for a draw. Maybe we should have drawed first. Dime tapped 12. What did we draw into? Yeah, we probably should have time. We should have drawn first. Oh well. Um, that's the high stakes of playing in a store with your friends. You you seem to do things like that. That's not a bad hand. Like you've got a Hiram for draw and you've got a Bell. The Bell wouldn't actually win us the game, but if we played her dime tapped her, that would have threatened lethal and forced a reaction. Um, so that would have been the better play, yeah, for sure. Yeah, they had another answer for it, so you know, as I say, they've set up their dime actually. I've just realised. They haven't set any dime targets up. It is going to be a race now, and a Tamatoa, unless they play it on this turn, won't be the answer. Even still, you'd have to get the item spamming quite a bit. I noticed a lot of red blue. It is just uh, yeah. At this point, you've closed it out because you know you can. Unless they can win on that turn or they can answer the dime, you should be able to find the win. I do notice that Red Ruby Sapphire is just Hammertower item spamming for the win. So as much as I discredit Amber Steel players for trying find and fix them, uh, I guess yeah, if they're building up their items and you just need to remove them all, so dime's not as useful. That's something. But I don't think that card's too important, and I don't really know why I'm talking about it. Yeah, just got to search for answers really at this point. Being quite confident with the diamond hand. But the other one is in the inkwell, is in the discard, so it's a bit worrying if the dime gets deals with a Judy Hops. But no, it's quite a good spot when your opponent is just digging. Oh, sorry, I think we would have gained 3 actually. 3 law, so I'll bring that down. I think they had 2 items and we had 2 items. Yeah, tap the dime. Just go back over that because I don't want to make any more mistakes in my videos. Uh, so when we play it out, yeah, how many items do they have? Let's just have a little look. Yeah, we would have gained 3, but that still brought us to 15, and then we would have won. But that's cool. That was game 1, and yeah, I'll go into game 2 then. That was the biggest segue that I could have edited properly, but I know I'm not one for editing. Uh, I just wanted to check. Yeah, so we'll be on the draw for this one, and we have to be even greedier, and everything has to go right for us. We'll just look into what we're getting rid of. Yeah, there's a hardhead beast in there, which is very good for this matchup, but I don't know. We're just looking for real greed. It's probably quite important or useful to keep him there. That was probably a misplay from me. I would say that was a good one to play, but and at this point you want to hit the quill, but they play porpsicles and stuff. So if you were to take out say a porpsicle, that's still not bad in a sense. You are deducting 2 draw if they have a Hiram. So you know that's a misplay from me there massively. I should have kept that card in hand. Um, Hand's looking awful, but we do have some ramp options in there. Start with a popsicle, but we get to start with one as well. But Boom's pretty redundant in this game. I don't think there's anything at all we want to remove, except for in this gentleman's build where it is a... Oh, we got the Hardhead Beast back, which is nice. They have got the Gaston, so you could argue that it was more important to keep that and get rid of a Cogsworth, because the Cogsworth is really redundant in this game. Um, but, you know, we didn't. And, yeah, there was a 2-drop, just 1 card too late for us there. I'd say at some points it's arguable that you want to keep a ramp in your hand, but arguable that you could mulligan everything else away for a 2-drop. Because it's just so important to get that early lore. As you saw, I got to about 8 or so, or 10, sorry, with just Mickey and Smee, and then was able to close out the game with the dime. There are some real thoughts going into the inking. Yeah, and setting up the quill and getting so much ramp so early on. We have to get rid of a quill. We, at this point as well, I think we should have kept the quill, and I find it really damages me. Um, if I go, it's quite painful. Yeah, I feel we really should have kept the quill. Sometimes you can be in a situation where you just play both quills and just keep wheeling, you keep shoving it in the inkwell, find the dime, keep putting it in the inkwell, keep going for dime targets. Yeah, and then we get really punished there by the Judy hop. So it's I believe in my head I just played this friends as well from locals. I didn't think they played Judy hops, and you can't think like that. Let's be honest. You should be thinking as much as you can about all of the options they have. Yeah, we're just trying to slow them down at this point. As I say, we should have kept the hardhead beast. We were lucky enough to draw it again, but that does really impact them. Losing that quill is they'd probably put their plays around it. They're like, right, I'm going to gain two law and two ink next turn. But now you're like, no, you're only getting one because how far you go and one jump's only going to give you exerted ink. Yeah, it's nice to watch back my videos and see where I went wrong with a lot of plays. But we're still not too bad. The thing about their board is Judy is a two quester as well, so we'll go up to two. Uh, that's quite scary. We have gained no law and we're at this ink level. Um, I believe we should be looking at their hand size as well uh, to see sort of where they're at. They have no Hiram. Yeah, I believe we even try and control the board, which is just ridiculous. Uh, quest for two. Not sure how great that was because there's some nice trades for them there. Yeah, I think we might have even looked at their hand and thought, if they don't have a Hiram here, we're actually in a really good spot. Of course, the sad thing is you pass it back and they play a Hiram and then you're not. You should sort of look at the confidence of their plays. If they're inking heavy, they probably do have the draw for it. Um, and then we don't have a particularly good answer for the Hiram. I've been looking at the new Hercules that has 6 attack and 5 defense. That'd be a nice trade in the Hiram. But I think in my mind the issue is still they've gained 4 cards because they'd play it and then they've quested with it. So they would still have gained some value out of the Hiram that we just don't want. They go in and they quest for 5. I mean that's quite bad for us. We look for some card draw. I believe a grab your swords here would be very very nice. Don't seem to have any. Yeah, as we say, we're so behind on the ink, we just have to start looking for it. Yeah, even this though, gaining what is it? Sorry, would they have gained one, two, three, four? I think they gained actually. Sorry, so they're up to 6. We have to just sort of keep that in check. We're so behind going second and everything. We do have that whole new worlds, but I think we're looking to a point where we've still got something to do on the turn after the whole new world. If we just burn it and go, and it's your turn, they go, great, I drawed into a dime. Yeah, it's a nice trade for them. We traded a Tinkerbell for 2 Talas and a what you call it, and a Judy hops. That's not great. And then a Sisu comes down, and I think at this point we know it's race or bust. I believe. I would say we would have needed some very very good draws to have found any answer from that was worth it. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep hyper ramping. We even put the whole new world in there now, so I think I would have just raced and looked for the dime. But the thing is, we have the dime targets in hand. It's just getting quite the messy hand really at this point. And we just have to take that law. We have to take that questing law. It is sad because you're just basically setting up for um, a Maui to take you out, but it's also like if I don't, I'm just so behind, and I've got to get some law and some value out of these cards, whilst they're on the board. So that would be a quest for 4, up to 10. At Big Sisu, the tempo swing it gives them of take out everything pretty much, and then yeah, this was the point where I knew I'd messed up quite bad because they took out. I have another hero in hand, but they took out our thing and I'd quilled the whole new world. I don't really know why I did that at this point. Really, I think we thought we're just not going to play it because they've only got 2 cards in hand, but they're still getting effective use out of the hero. So overall, it's just really quite bad. And we have to be so reactive with this stuff that we just really don't want to. Yeah, and we seeing along came Zeus. We're just doing that so we can slow down how much uh, law. I think he even asked, "Have I played this turn?" Because I would have rather the Hiram singed it. Um, But yeah, we just have to slow down that law because what is that? That's 5-6. It's I don't know why that big Caesar is a free quester. That's forever gonna haunt me. That they get to take out a majority of your board, and say if they play into an aggro player that's got low questers, they take out everything and they get a 5-4. They can do that on a shift on 5. They can ramp to that. It's just too good. So quest for 3. B prep. I mean, yeah, the aerial's relatively threatening if we have a dime. So that's not a bad play for them. They're still so much in the driver's seat. Yeah, I think we're just trying to play things to see if they'll stick, really. And we got rid of that Holy World way too early. They're able to deal with our Harem so effectively, and now we're just out on draw, looking for things to stick on the board. That Let It Go, just hugging it for a Tamatoa. It's not the best spot to be in, is it really? There you go, such a strange card for that. Yeah, and we're going to need some dime action or anything at all, really, to keep us going. Need to ramp to keep up. Might as well take the 5 law there just to go to 9. Like I say, we have to just be as aggressive as we can. Um, I think that in hindsight, that's also a misplay as well because a 3-4 is not going to deal with it. Yeah, the Tremaine's not going to deal with it. I think we just thought it's going to gain them 2 law, and that's hands just is quite useless. So there's a lot of mistakes in this. It's really culminated into having a Quill and an Argus or a Baboom in hand. You might as well use that, yeah, just ink the card in hand. They probably know it's nothing great. It's no gas or anything. Yeah, and as you say, watching these back, you can really see the points where it fell apart. I think we still had some plays to make of that whole new world. We could have looked for the dime and we could have been like, hey, I'm going to win next turn unless you win next turn. Uh, yeah, and we call that game there, really. That's it. There's a lot going on there that was wrong. I mean, missing that 2 quester for the law. I mean, we got to 9 with our questing. Say if you had that Smee turning sideways, what you get to 15 or so. Say if we found the dime because we kept the whole new world, we would have. I think there was plays we could have made there to turn that into a winning game, but it wasn't in the cards for that one. So yeah, I'll end that one there. And I believe we have the final as it's a best of 3. Um, I believe this one. Yes, there are some moments of intense thinking here that might have to be looked over. But yeah, that's quite a lovely opening hand. A Fishbook and a Quill. Sorry, a Smee and a Quill. I'm quite happy with that. The rest of the hand I am not particularly happy with, and we saw no Popsicle. So yeah, uh, there's key components to it. As you say, that you can get some just crazy plays where it's like the Porp, Smee, Quill into a good 5 or 6 drop, sing Whole World, just keep racing, look for dime, maybe play a bell and get the extra ink from it. Play some Mickeys, just look for more ink as you go. But yeah, as we're starting this out, I mean that broom. I hope I put the broom in the inkwell, but yes, we do because it's just not going to be needed here now that Smee's here. Nothing at all of value there. I'm always quite happy to see Tamatoas go quite early on. Popsicle's nice. We will want to play that. Yeah, we're debating it because there is some plays we can make with keeping the bell out, but also we think we just need to realise that we're gonna need the Quill down or the Mickey down. We're gonna need to get to that Tinkerbell if we don't find another 5 drop, and then we're gonna have to sing Whole New World and look for it because the bell's great, but we needed to draw other things. We have already a line of play in hand with get to Tinkerbell, sing Whole New World. Also, Big Dragon's nice to see. It's always good to try to keep in mind what they've inked because then it's likely that information's probably going to help you out in the future. If make sure I was doing the right play. But yeah, if you've seen them ink 1 or 2 Tamatoas, maybe you wheel and then you burn a Tamatoa. You're like, hold on, they only have 1 left. You know, I've had sort of situations where let's get the law count correct. I've had situations where it's like I've put both dimes into the discard pile. I've seen most of the Tamatoas going from their hand from the wheel and the inking. So you know they have no way to access them dimes, and you can play a bit slower because of that, because you know they can't quickly close it out. they're going to have to quest win. So yeah, always keep an eye on what's in the inkwell and what's not. And we seem quite confident. We're quite ahead at this point. Um, and burning through developing brains is pretty nice for us as well because when we want to burn with whole new world, um, what we've really done is they've sculpted their hand into a hand that they want to play with. And what we've done is we'll say, all right, well that hand you want to play, we'll burn all those cards because they're going to make decisions. And when you bottom deck a card, it's pretty much like drawing it and discarding it, let's be honest, because once it's at the bottom, it's just not going to be used again. So yeah, it's nice to see develop your brains early. It's the same when you play into Ruby Amethyst and they start just running through their um, what's it called? When they're just running through their friends on the other side. Yeah, and as I say, we're setting that up. We'll take the two law. There is no situation where both of those things die. I think so. We're pretty much safe, and we're down to just the whole new world in hand. We're pretty good on the ink as well. This is sort of one of those really nice plays you want to get on the play as well. I think at this point all they can do is if they're experienced and they know how a wheel deck works is play the value that they have in their hands, try to get as maximum out of it as they can, and then just anticipate the whole new world. The thing that we can do is if you can see them throwing things in the inkwell and they're not going to play efficiently with Hiram and stuff, we might even want to hold back. We can't in this situation unless we top deck our Hiram. We've sort of committed so much to the whole new world. We're going to have to do it. They probably know we're going to have to do it as well. Um, but yeah, it's still interesting. It's a nice little diplomatic situation where they probably want to keep their hand or they want to play the value of their hand over one or two turns. You're going to be like, I'm just going to whole new world and burn everything to try and play it out as you can. Definitely try and get as much inking as you can do in the hand. Yeah, I mean a 3/4 on the board, and if you just need to play something, that's maximize cost of your ink that turn. So yeah, that's not bad. I believe we drew the Tamatar, which is a bit worrying now that we've got two of the dime targets in the inkwell. So we've got to keep that in mind. But we have still got four more, so it's not the end of the world. Four for the Hiram. Yeah, we might as well draw. I think at this point, yeah, I'd like to just get another thing on the board. Ooh, we go for the double. Yeah, this is really nice. I understate this. We didn't ink anything. How interesting. Um, I should have inked that turn, shouldn't I? It's very yeah. I'm rambling here. I'm getting nervous. It looks like, but double quill is just going to be probably the best inking method in the game. I think we anticipated another Judy hop, so we just played it out. But also, yeah, you can get as many like one jumps ahead in how far you goes. But if you're just like, hey, I'm gaining three lore efficiently every turn, it just costs me something in my hand, whole new world. That's a really good spot to be in. Um, Terms will never sit for very long, will they? Yeah, we also have to keep an eye on things like we have. Yes, that's another dime target as well. That's just it's gonna have to get on the board if we're looking to whole new world. But we're burnt for another Hiram as well, so we have to keep in mind sort of how much of the 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, we have to keep in mind how much of the draw potential we've got rid of as well. So on top of the dime targets, where the dimes are, we have to keep in mind where our draw is going to be coming from if we whole new world. If you're whole new worlding to the next whole new world, that's great. But sometimes you will need that Hiram to connect you to the next one. So always keep that in mind. Yeah, we might start wanting to just item spam. It's very good to get items down. And yeah, we opted for the Argus over the Smee there. For lore reasons, not particularly a good idea. But I think we just thought in our head, this is going to trade nicely into whatever they play. So at this point, by playing the Argus, we're almost threatening a be prepared because it's like if you don't just wipe this whole board out, we're going to actually take really nice trades the next turn. So just by putting a 4-1, I mean, it's going to take out the Tremaine. They might want to do work on the Tinkerbell. But yeah, I felt that was actually the right play and the decision. And if we taunt out a Be Prepared, we have another Smee. And Smee's just nice. He's a 2-quester, and sometimes he soaks up a Medusa. So yeah, I felt that was a really strong spot to be in. Um, there is a turn where they spend quite a considerable amount of time trying to think out their play, which is fine. We were still sort of a little bit in practice mode. It's all right, but I will have to try skip through that bit when it comes up. Don't know if I can change the speed up. But yeah, look at all them one jumps. I guess with the whole new world, you will find everything. Yeah, no, this is not the turn. As I say, that you sort of tempt it out. I think they might not have gone for the Be Prepared if we had one less character on board. It felt like, but with a Smee, and as I say, he's a 2-cost that's just kind of useless anyway. So yeah, I'm really trying to sell Argus on people. Got another dime target. Yeah, I think we're just checking to see, right, if we set up something, what actually happens next. Because we want to set up a dime target again. You know, the burnt one, so that's a Tamatoa gone, a Bell gone, an Aerial gone. You know, we're really burning through them. So if we even want to effectively use our dime, we're going to have to start thinking. No, it's just a handful of stuff we just don't want, do we really? Yep, to the point where it's like that can go in to the inkwell. Yeah. As we're burning through the deck, Mickey's a bit scarier. I don't know how other people feel one jump ahead, but as the deck just gets thinner, the idea of inking out of the deck scary, especially if you're looking for a dime. You could be unlucky and be the one who put that in the inkwell, and then you know you're so far behind. That inkwell management is awful, and I will work on it for the next vid. Um, but yeah, I don't think that's a terribly threatening board. Just after a Be Prepared as well. That's going to force, you know, some janky removal of maybe a Brawl and a Tremaine, which actually would put them in a decent spot, but that's going to cost them pretty much their turn. It might cost them another Be Prepared if they have it, but I felt that was quite a threatening spot to be in. At least we're putting, you know, we're sending it to them and saying, this is what we've got, what do you have next? Another whole new world, if all of this goes wrong, we just shove everything in the inkwell and just keep looking. That could be a check for a dime because you know, if we do the quest and to get the dime back, you know, that's getting 5 of the dime, so we'll be getting 10 on that turn. Um, don't know if they were tracking our dime targets. It's quite hard for opponents to track your dime targets because they don't know what your ratios are. But they can see that a Bell, Aerial, one Tamatel was gone. They could get rid of another one, and they could be thinking there can't be that many left, so the dime will be just a less effective card. Believe this is the turn actually where it takes a little bit of time for the player to decide. So what we'll do is skip a little bit. We had a little chat whilst it was going on as well. Right, so it looks like action happens here. Sorry about that. And they went for the B prep in the end. I think it was a very long ponder of, uh, am I right to leave this Tamatoa, or should I just deal with it now? Because as I said, it's down to 2 cards, and oh, more than 2 cards. Sorry, they've got quite a lot of cards in hand. But you know, they might want to save the B prep for another turn. You know, we still had lots of stuff to do. I remember thinking, all right, we did get another Be Prepared, but I'm gonna want to wheel at this point, so that was kind of useless. But of course, if you wheel without using the Tamatoa, you lose the value of the Tamatoa. So, you know, I remember it being this is an awkward spot for me to be in. But we do have a janky hand, and we have a whole new world, so I believe the play we should make is just put it in the inkwell and keep searching for the dime. Yeah, we also looked at setting up a Cogsworth to sing it. Um, I'd be quite worried about that in hindsight because it's just never really a good play. I think we go for it though. Yeah, all right. When in Rome. Yeah, if you can get a sing it, you can get 5 ink back on your turn. I was the one who made that play, so I don't know. I guess I have to stick by it. But yeah, it's just Cogsworth is quite redundant in this matchup. Besides being a 5-cost singer that dies to CC. Um, but yeah. Guess just trying to play the max amount of value in our hand. Um, Possibly, I don't know if I remember, but they could have just been going through their Hirams, and we thought maybe their draw power was not as good. Um, there it comes out. There it comes out. It gets punished. I have to watch this back. It's like torture. We're only playing one Let It Go in the deck at this time. I've actually gone up to two recently. Possibly because I don't play that many Ruby Sapphires, so the cards tends to be a bit more useless. That's not a bad thing to draw off the, in a weird way, a bad thing to draw off the Force Field because we get to ink it straight away. Yeah, we're kind of ignoring the Sisu, and we can take that out with another Zeus if we have one. I can't remember if we've burnt any. We've burnt one, but yeah, if we can set up a dime this turn, we're quite. We know they have no dimes. I must have been screaming inside when that happened. We know they have a Judy Hops, so it'll be quite scary. There we go. Yeah, it was slowly getting. So they are three. Yeah, sorry, piles of four. Oh, we go for the removal. Trying to see how much more value we can get out of this hand before we pass turn and do some other stuff. Quest for two to get us over that five at the start. Get us to six. I'm not sure how much lore they've gained actually, but I haven't been updating those. But yeah, that's not bad. In our hand, we can look at doing the aerial and dime on that turn instead of just trying to set up for an OTK. Because if we had the aerial on board here, we could actually dime tap quest to get 10, then quest with these two and win. But as I said, they've got a fresh new hand. Um, it's such a volatile deck, really, that it's just unlikely that these characters aren't going to be answered. They might not want to put the effort into two questers, but they sort of, yeah, there you go. Taunting out another Be Prepared, or not taunting out, just they're playing it effectively. They're removing things. Um, which, I mean, we can count now. There's three been played. Putting a Tala on board. But we know we've got a dime target, and we know what to do, really. We just have to hope they don't have answers. Another Tamatoa would be very, very nice here. Rise of Titans is quite strange in this one, but if you think they're running away with the dime, you can dime. You can Rise of Titans their dime. Most likely, it will just be a way to slow things down. Yeah, they might as well play as much value out of their hand as they can. So yeah, we'll go 4, 6 for aerial. Oh, that is just awful ink management, isn't it? Tap the dime to get 5. Go to 11. Play something next to it just for the Tremaine removal. It's unlikely Ruby Sapphire plays B King, but you know, just them you kill your stuff, things like Tremaines, it's just good. And at this point, we're threatening Leaf unless they have an answer for the dime or aerial. I mean, even if the dime is answered and aerial isn't, that's quite alright for us. We could draw another dime or a Tamatoa. We're getting quite thin on the deck as well. So it's quite a scary point to be like, hey, it's in your favor to do something. I do believe they have 2 or 3 lore from the Hiram, but sorry, I haven't added them. Yeah, it's an interesting point. If you've just gone for a Be Prepared, you might not have another one. You've only got one left. But leaving that stuff on the board, maybe fearing another whole new world, or just that 4 lore, they could have. They could have also been a good point as well if they haven't got answers for those simpler answers for the Smee and the Big Tink. They most likely don't have effective answers for the aerial that you're going to play with a broom next to it. But as you can see with all of these games, it's just been me sort of trying to race them, quite aggressive, making them have to react rather than me react to their board. That game on the draw, we tried to do the reaction with the Tinkerbell and stuff, and it just didn't work really. Yeah, and we call game on that, as they didn't really have the answers in the end. Um, I think Ariel comes quite strong through on this game, just to make Sisu a little bit less effective. I played two, but you could go down to one. I just think she's really, really good in this matchup. And because we play eight popsicles, we end up just getting more items than them on average, I find. But yeah, I hope that was quite enjoyable.